Welcome back to DivInveste. If you're here, it means you're serious about turning small, consistent investments into steady income streams, and maybe even some free Big Macs. What if I told you that achieving financial freedom is just a matter of finding your magic number? No wizards, no tricks, just numbers and smart investing. Today, I'll show you how to figure out your target number and start working towards it. Grab your calculators, folks. This is going to be a fun one. First things first. Your magic number is the amount of money you need invested to comfortably cover your expenses forever, whether that's your day to day expenses, food, holidays, etc. Imagine your investments doing the hard work while you live your dream life. Sounds magical, right? To make this a bit more real for you, let's start by calculating an example of annual expenses. Say you spend £2,000 a month on all your living costs. Then you would need £24,000 a year to cover all your expenses. Simple math. Keep that number in your head as we'll be using it later in the video. Now, let's talk about the two paths to building wealth: dividend shares and growth shares. Growth shares are like a rocket, focusing on the safe withdrawal rate, which assumes your investments grow faster than you can spend them, as you need to sell a portion of your investments each year to produce income. But it does come with a few risks, like market dips, which may force you to sell at a loss, reducing your initial investment size. Dividend shares, on the other hand, are like a plant: steady returns at an agreed percentage, with less emphasis on growth. You're not selling shares, you're collecting payouts. Let's now jump into a little Excel that I prepared to make this a bit more interactive. Here's a simple spreadsheet that can help you calculate your magic number. You can tweak your spending or return rate to see how it affects your target. Before we kick off filling this in, let me walk you through what's on screen. The portfolio return rate is the expected growth rate of your portfolio each year. We're using 4% as that's a general rule concluded in a study by William Bengen that states retirees could generally withdraw about 4% of their portfolio each year, adjusted for inflation, with a high probability of not running out of money over a 30-year retirement period. This is often called the 4% rule. Monthly investment is used just to count the number of months required to save up to your target portfolio amount, and is merely extra information if you want to know how long it will take to actually save up once we start playing around with this spreadsheet. Expense name is straightforward. We'll use the annual expense from earlier as an example. The cost is how much the expenses cost in a year. So in the example we were just talking about, it was £24,000 a year for all living costs. Now that we have this initial information, we can see that we would need to have a portfolio of at least £600,000 to have an annual income or an annual return on the portfolio of £24,000. So using the 4% rule. I don't know about you, but 600,000 is quite a steep number for anyone starting off, and even for the vast majority of experienced investors as well. Okay, we know how big of a portfolio you need now to actually cover all living expenses if you're on that target expense. But let's do this differently. Let's focus back on the Big Mac challenge and see what we can actually achieve with the Big Mac challenge. So if we clear out the table and If you saw the first video on this challenge, you know the milestones we're after. 1 Big Mac a year, 1 Big Mac a month, and 1 Big Mac a week. These will be £5, £60, and £260 respectively. Also, as you've seen in the previous video, we're currently saving £50 a week, which is roughly £200 a month. So that shows us that for each of the targets, we know how many months and even years it will take to save towards that target. Finally, the trading 212 pi that we set up for this challenge gives us an inflation adjusted expected returns of 7.24% a year. Now, we have clear targets of what we're aiming for. So, this also explains why, in the very first video, because we needed a £500 portfolio to actually start the challenge in the first place, why by the first video we had already achieved the one free Big Mac a year. Also, in the second video, we didn't know, but actually we had already achieved the one Big Mac a month milestone as well. As currently we are sitting at around £1,600 in our portfolio. We can now look forward to the one Big Mac a week target, which at our current portfolio size and savings rate should take roughly another 10 months. So that you can play around with the spreadsheet in your own time and trial whatever expenses you want to aim for, or follow up with us on the Big Mac challenge, you simply have to click on File and Download and select the preferred version of the file that you want to use. Don't worry if you mess up with any of the formulas, you can just re-download the file again. Let's now move to our Trading 2 and 2 account and check the progress on the free Big Macs for Life challenge. As of the 15th of February 2025, our portfolio is sitting at around £1,680, and we have currently received £23.38 in dividends. We've reached the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe to DivInveste for more fun financial tips. While you're at it, share your magical number in the comments and let's inspire each other to reach those targets. Until next time, happy investing.